Why are so many of us happy to see things just go to waste instead of giving them away? And what if I were to tell you that Jesus never intended for his followers to store things on this earth in the first place? In this video, we're going to be looking at one of the most often ignored teachings of Jesus and how storing, saving, and stockpiling might actually be killing our faith. Right in the middle of the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus says for us not to store up treasures on this earth where robbers can steal them and where moth and rust can eat away at them and destroy their usefulness. He says for us to store treasures in heaven. And please be clear, that wasn't a suggestion. That's a command. So what do most of us do with that command? We ignore it. We say it means something that it doesn't. We rationalize our disobedience and tell each other that it's no longer relevant for today. But what if it is? In the Gospels, Jesus tells a story about a rich man whose wealth kept growing. What did he do with all of his wealth? Did he share it with others? No, he stored it, and he built bigger barns in order to store more and more of it. In the story, Jesus calls this man a fool, because that very night, he died. And all that stuff he stored, useless, immediately. The moral of the story, it's not wise spiritually or practically to just store and accumulate possessions. The whole point of what we have, if God gives it to us, is to share it with others. Now turn with me to another part of the Gospels. Luke 10. The context is Jesus sending out the disciples in pairs on outreach. Now take special note to how he sends them off. No money, no change of clothes, no food. He was trying to teach them a very practical lesson about living by faith in real time in God and his provision instead of trusting in the material things they could see. You know, I've got a friend who's lived for over a month in America without ever touching money. And I know of another guy whose name is Daniel who lived for over 15 years without using money. So it's very much possible to do if you've got the faith. So what we're talking about here is not theory. This is real, practical faith in action. Living by faith, literally, in God to provide. Not in what we can store, not in what we can hoard, but in what God can give us on a daily basis. I really can't stress this point enough. For any of you guys out there watching this who's got stuff that you own that's rotting away, that's rusting away, that's wasting away, there's a very sobering warning for you in the Bible, which I want you to take note of. It's in the book of James. He talks about the wealthy people who have the rust of the things that they've wasted through misuse as a testimony against them come judgment day. It's a very serious warning, and it's one that more of us, especially living in affluent Western countries, need to take seriously to avoid the coming judgment. So, with that in mind, let's get practical. I want you right now to go and find 2 to 3 items that you have not used in the last few months. Things that are rusting away, things that are rotting away, things that are not being used. Find somebody that you can give it to and give it to them today. Not tomorrow, do it now, do it today. 2, try to see if you can go a full day without using money. You know, I mentioned earlier in this video about a friend of mine who lived without money for a full month. And I mentioned Daniel zero currency man, who did it for 15 years. It's very much possible to do so. I've done it many times myself, usually for a week at a time. You can do it for just a day. Give it a try if you can and see if it doesn't increase your faith in God's ability to provide. And finally, share. Find somebody today who doesn't have something that you have that you can give to that person, especially if it's a person who can't pay you back. You know, Jesus said that it's when we give to those who can't repay us that our Father in heaven is actually going to pay us back himself. It's when we help those who can't help us back, when we're good to those who can't repay the favor, that the real blessings come. So act on that today. Find somebody that you could share with and do it now. So there you go. Those are 3 practical steps you could take even now to fight against this tendency to hoard and to store and to lose faith in God's ability to provide and trusting instead with only what we could see. You know, I want more and more of us to start taking acts of faith as we learn to live our faith in God instead of faith in money. And if this video has challenged you or inspired you in any way, please give it a like, please share it, and thank you for watching. God bless.